It's like some people think, oh, I have to have courage first and then I'll do it. And it's like, no. You get the courage when you do the thing. And then that courage grows. And then you do it again. There it is. Oh, there, that courage is growing again. And you do it again.
Aloha, my beautiful friends on the other side of the screen. My name is Krista Ralakshmi-Ditton, coming to you from beautiful sunny San Diego, California. I call myself New Time Coach because I believe that each one of us, we have a treasure box inside. And once we open it, we can start to manifest our inner dreams into the reality here on our terms. Welcome to the next episode with Abundance in Action podcast, where we have a very special guest today, Rebecca Massoud. Aloha.
Aloha, Crystal. I'm delighted to be here.
And Rebecca and I, we know each other now almost for a year, because the first time I saw you in your beautiful physical presence was during the Women's Wisdom Network Christmas party, where you were the most amazing MC, female MC I have ever seen. You were so entertaining, so full of energy, and you did a really beautiful job.
Thank you. That's a really fun memory. So thanks for taking us back there.
And when I looked at you, I was admiring how courageous you were also in your own skin. I remember just admiring your arms. I was like, I wonder what kind of workout does she do? Because, a woman your age, and it's like, I have really put extra focus on my arms too. It's like, I wonder if it's just yoga or what is she doing, and really wondering. So, and I know you have your magic tricks, and we get to those in a bit, but I just wanted you to know that I really admire you as a person, as a coach, and as a feminine goddess as you are.
Thank you so much. It's really touching to hear.
Yeah. And you are a real power woman, because you have done so many different things, and you have really put your abundance in action in so many ways. And you have really taken time in your life to explore your gifts and talents. And you really inspire thousands to share their brilliance on stage as a speaker coach, marketing mentor, and creator of Speak, Shine, Sell, your signature one-day workshop, which you now have delivered more than 20 times. And you also help women entrepreneurs to double and triple their incomes with a high converting signature talk that connects from the heart. In addition, you have also been certified Feng Shui consultant. You have Reiki level certification. You have done 10-day Vipassana meditation course. You have studied also several healing modalities. And you have also been the creator of, you have been part of award-winning business success coach and marketing mentor. You are also a certified money marketing and soul coach, certified sacred money archetypes coach, and you also have been featured on the cover of I Love Coaching magazine. And you have 25 years experience in marketing and branding. And you're also former marketing director for the Shift Network for top global transformation leaders such as Katie Hendricks, Don Miguel Ruiz, Lisa Nichols, Marcia Reeder, and so many others. Welcome.
Thank you, Crystal, and thank you, everyone. I'm delighted to be here.
Yeah, so you are originally, even though you are also in San Diego right now, but you are not originally from San Diego. I'm always so excited to hear people's stories, like how they end up in where they are. And I know you have probably a couple of stories to share which you could inspire us and our listeners and viewers today. So how did you end up in San Diego?
Well, how I ended up in San Diego started in Dallas, Texas, where I grew up. And I had graduated from college in 1990. So I'm showing my age here, which I'm not ashamed or afraid to do that, proudly. So I soon after college, I had this knowing, this sense that I'm meant to be somewhere else. I went to school right in Dallas, just where I grew up. And there was this sense of I am meant to live somewhere else. And I didn't know where. So it took me a number of years but I would literally get out a map or an atlas. I had one of those atlases, and I would go through the atlas and just feel and sense of what places sound exciting? Like, where am I being called? And it was just this inquiry that I explored for a number of years. And then it just started to narrow down. I remember I had it down to 3 places in the US, because I'd even considered the Mediterranean. Israel popped up as a place. I didn't know why these places were lighting up for me, but I just kept following that knowing, and it boiled down to Colorado, North Carolina, and Northern California, and just a series of events. I'd run into a friend, or I'd have lunch with someone, and Northern California just kept coming. Actually, I remember this is back in the early 90s, maybe early 1994. I had a reading. I think it was my first reading with a psychic. And it was like, I don't know, maybe I paid her $25 for a 15-minute reading, or, something like that. And she was like, get ready. She said, are you ready? I'm like, ready for what? She said, you're moving. And she was like, I see wine country and the, Golden Gate Bridge. And so I was like, okay, Northern California. And it just kept lining up that was the place. I had lunch with a friend, and she said, oh, I have some friends there, so you can go out and explore and stay with them. And so and I remember there was a particular place I did go out there. So I went to go and explore. And then I went all over the Bay Area, the San Francisco Bay Area. But I'd heard about this area right above the Golden Gate Bridge, right over from San Francisco, called Marin County. And as soon as I heard about it, there was just this sense of, that is my place. I just knew. And so it was my last full day of my 5-day trip to the Bay Area to explore the different areas. And I was driving across the Golden Gate Bridge, my first time in Marin County. And as soon as I came, there's this beautiful tunnel that once you go over the bridge, and there's this beautiful tunnel. It's actually called the Rainbow Tunnel. And then I went through that. And just as I came out of that tunnel, there was this magnificent rainbow that was arching from one side of the freeway all the way over into the other side of the freeway. And my whole body was just, I was screaming in delight, and just my whole body was just lighting up. Like I could feel like the hairs on my skin just lighting up. And it was like, oh my God, this. And for me, that was a sign. And then I went to have lunch at a Chinese restaurant. And my fortune that day was, your ability to believe has created an upcoming dream come true. And I saw that, and I just said, yes, I know that this is this is my place. And I meant to.
So you moved to San Francisco?
Yes. So soon after, I came back from that 5-day trip back to Dallas, and I set a date. I said, I want to move by April. And that was 1994. And I remember I was also looking for a job because I had a great job in Dallas. And I was looking for a job, and I had this set up that I had to have a job before I could move. And so that's part of why I went out there, is to not only explore the area, but I had some informational interviews. I had set up some appointments. So I was on this job search, like I have to have a job in order for me to move. And I had set my deadline, April 1st, I'm going to have the job. And that's when well, April 1st came around and I still didn't have the job. And I just prayed about it. And I'm a big journaler. So that's where I receive my guidance, is through journaling. And I remember writing in my journal and just said, I'm ready to go now. I'm ready to go. I want this so badly. I know this is my place. And then it was like I heard a voice that said, are you really ready? Look around you. I hadn't packed. I hadn't done all the things, to close up my life. I wasn't moving. I wasn't acting on faith. I was acting on conditions. If I have this, if I have a job, then I'll do it. I wasn't acting on faith. And so it was like, as I'm writing in my journal, I hear this voice, are you really ready? Look around you. And it was that day I'm sitting in my apartment in Dallas, and you're right. I'm not ready. And I immediately got into action, and I started packing up. I gave my notice at my job. I put in the 30-day notice with my apartment rental company, and told all my friends. And literally within 2.5 weeks, I was on my way to Northern California. And I had completed everything. And I arrived April 26th. So I had some stops along the way. And so that's my story of leaving Dallas and following my heart, my knowing, my intuition was saying. And here's the other thing. There was a sense that my soul family is here. My soul family. I have this wonderful, family that I grew up in, lovely, lovely family. And yet there was a sense that I'm different. I love my family, and I feel different. I feel like my values, my political beliefs, my spiritual beliefs are different than the family that I grew up with. And I had this strong sense that my soul family is there, and I'm going to go and meet them. And I did.
So amazing story. Thank you for sharing. And once you got to San Francisco, did things really continue to line up as you planned, or?
No. I had the most crazy. So I want to say no and yes, because that first year in particular. Well, for one thing, I moved 13 times in 1 year. I had to, just really finding the right job or position. That was a really struggle. I left and I had no job. I didn't know anyone. And I had about $1,500. to take with me. And I did have a place to stay, but that was a little tenuous. And it was, so the first year to 2 years were rough. And they were incredibly healing and transformational at the same time. And it was, I mean, I had some doozy of experiences, and literally moving around from place to place to place. I remember, because part of it was I didn't have a lot of money, and I did find some jobs and I did find some work, but it just, it wasn't, I had a great job in Dallas, but it wasn't the job, and it wasn't really supporting me. But I remember all these various moves that I was making. And I came to the place where I was like, I am not going to reach out to, like, I'm done with trying to find a place to live. I'm just, if I have to sleep on the beach tonight in my car, I will do that. And I was just like, I'm done. And that very day that I kind of said my declaration, I get a call from a friend, and she was like, do you need a place to stay? And I was like, yeah, actually I do. And so it was quite an outer and internal adventure. And but lots of struggle, lots of pain, and lots of healing that happened for me during that time.
And I think it seems like it was very necessary, because it was like building the courage muscle, which you really needed more of later on in your life. And that self-explorative time in our lives is actually very important, that you take that time and, make those jumps. Like you really jumped into San Francisco and really started to feel like, and believe like, oh, I have the wings and they will carry me. And then maybe halfway down, you're like, oh my God, I don't know if my wings are actually carrying me. And then it's this constant human thing, you have the doubt, and then you don't have the doubt, and then you have the faith, and then you have the courage. And then it's all this magic dance between those polarities and coming back into your center. And I think your journey has had so many facets and different ways how you have done it, and such a beautiful story of courage and, taking that step and moving forward. And I see it so many times. People maybe have those ideas also, but then they just stop there because, excusing, I don't have the job, or I don't have this or that. And then their dreams actually die every day. It dies more and more. And with the dreams, they die as well. And as you know, I've traveled to 30 countries. I've done several times of those jumps, and not only inside one country, but between continents, like from Norway to South Africa, and then from South Africa to United States, and then from Mexico to Estonia. And it's like crazy extremes. And throughout all this, I also have trained my courage muscle so much, and also my intuition so much. Now I feel really like a superwoman, because I really rely on you. And when we started to also do a little deeper work with together, so I understood like Rebecca is my type of girl, because you have those similar qualities. Like you really trust intuition, and you also continue to train your courage muscle. So can you also connect your life into how did courage play part of, like you followed your intuition and now you jumped in, and courage, I think, may have been maybe this like red kind of guiding line, or connecting all the dots throughout many other adventures you have had. How is it, like how important it is to train your courage muscle as well?
Yeah, that's such a great question, Crystal, because that is that has been a big, huge theme in my life. And because part of what, my work now is in supporting women entrepreneurs to get up in front of a room of people and speak. And that has also been my journey of that, being willing to stand up in front of a group and all eyes on you. And it does take courage, and it takes it takes this deep level of self-trust and self-compassion. I think that's one of the biggest things that, when I look back on my journey, and that's actually been one of the themes that I've really been cultivating in the last couple of years, is self-compassion, self-trust and self-compassion. They just go hand in hand, because there's, so many times that I attempted, when I look back at, my 20s and my 30s and my 40s, and I'm now 52. And it was like I was searching for my true home that catapulted me from Dallas to Northern California. Then it was searching for my soul family, searching for my purpose in life, searching for my partner, my husband. That was a big, long search. And then once I had all those things, searching for, what am I here to do in this life? Like, what is my real work in the world? And who am I? That's also, so that's been, so the search, and the willingness to, and courage is a muscle. It is a muscle. So we talked about, thank you for admiring my arms. And yes, it is a weekly workout. In addition to yoga, I do a weekly workout, which does help for sure. And it really, it takes exercising that muscle. And the best way to do that is, it's like, some people think, oh, I have to have courage first and then I'll do it. And it's like, no. You get the courage when you do the thing. And then that courage grows. And then you do it again. There it is. Oh, there, that courage is growing again. And you do it again. And it just builds and builds. And then, like you say, how you walk around feeling like Superwoman and courageous. It's like, yeah, that, and it starts with the little things, and then it just literally builds on itself. And then you do the big things, like move across country or quit your job with no job.
Public speaking, as we know, is statistically one of the biggest fears people have, not only in the United States, it's like worldwide. And what I really love about the way you take it apart right now is, really, it reminds me how I started to learn how to surf. And I did my first surfing lessons in South Africa, and I just kind of happened to go along with my friends. I had no idea what I kind of got involved myself in. And the first 3 or 4 months, we had one surfing class per week. They had like a university surf club, and it was a couple of hours. It was a sandy beach, really nice. And the first 3 months, I was just most of the time in a washing machine. And I couldn't understand how the hell they can get standing on that board and then even writing it. Like I couldn't really like get it into my head. And then I was like about to quit. And then I had that first experience when I managed to stand up for like one split second. And then I was hooked. And then I started to understand, oh, I have to like figure out where my board is, where is the point where the wave is breaking, how far should I be, and where do I position myself? And then all of those little, things play a role. And if I'm in the right place, right time, and do the right things and do the right moves, voila, I can jump up. And then the rides got longer and more fun. And then I was already like, oh, these waves are too small for me. Like I need more bigger waves, right? And that's exactly how it is with coaching and also, speaking. Like, a couple of years ago, I was terrified about, videos. And then I made myself a challenge. I'm going to do a weekly Facebook Live for at least a year. And it turned into 2 years.
Oh,
and that was a real training. And so I learned so much. I learned about Facebook. I learned about myself. I learned about people. I learned, how to improve. And also, where I got stuck so many times and what works, what doesn't work. And it was a journey and like massive amounts of lessons, like surfing, So, and then you take it from there. It's like, okay, this is not fun anymore. I want the bigger waves. It's like, oh, what is out there? Podcast. Okay, let's do podcast.
Now you're on this wave.
Yeah, so this is this wave. So thank you for surfing with me today. And I know that you are really into water stuff too. And can you also share with us, you are into boogie boarding, I heard. So why is it important to do stuff like this, which really like get your energy going and getting into your element? Why is this important for your professional work?
Well, when I am out in the water and boogie boarding, I feel so alive. I just am, and in this sense of childlike playfulness and joy just is bubbling as I'm riding those waves into shore. And I usually do it with friends, and it's become a community. We call ourselves Babes Who Boogie. So there's this sense of companionship and connection and this joyful playfulness and aliveness that I'm experiencing. And oh my God, yes, that just feeds right into my work, because I go out, I boogie board, and then I come home and I might be seeing a client that afternoon, or so it's all connected. So everything that I do, it is about bringing the sense of joy and aliveness and lightness of being, and it informs my work, and it helps me, because I have to be so present and alive when I'm out in the water, being so present, like, okay, be with that wave. It trains me to be present in my day-to-day, answering email or working on whatever I'm working on, writing some copy for a marketing piece, or it trains me to be so present with that. And when I'm present, I'm in my joy. When I'm fully present with what I'm doing, I'm at ease in my body. And what lets me know when I'm off track is I start to get tight in my shoulders, my neck starts aching, or my lower back, or my hips are tight. And then that just alerts me, like, okay, you're being in worry or anxiousness about the future or overwhelm. And it just has me come back to this moment. And in this moment, there are no problems. There's just what's in front of me to do.
Yeah, it's a really important skill to use different hobbies like that. And during this 2020, which has been quite a challenging year for, I think, each one of us, I think we all have to tap more into how to take better care of ourselves, how to love ourselves. So self-care and self-love are kind of rising to the higher levels of priorities, you know. And what are a couple of things, or maybe 2 or 3 things, which you would recommend people who are listening or watching today? What could they do to increase that self-love or self-care during these challenging times?
So there's a practical thing. I love to dance, and I bring dance into every part of my day as much as possible. So just before getting on this podcast with you, I had music on. So it just gets me in my body, gets me moving, gets me feeling, gets me in my heart. So anything that I can do to get out of my head and into my body, bring it into my heart or my belly and into more of a feeling space, that makes a huge, huge difference. And then the other word that's coming is self-compassion. And this has really been a piece that I've particularly been bringing in the last, I would say the last year or so. It is giving myself just absolutely the utmost unconditional compassion for my humanness, for the times when I mess up and the times that I say the wrong thing, or I upset someone, or I missed out on an opportunity, or I didn't make much money, or didn't meet my goal of my revenue goal for the month or for the quarter. And it's just like, giving myself that ultimate, delicious self-compassion and coming to know myself. Here's what I've come to know is God or the divine is not out there. It's within me. And so as this being of I'm fully divine and I'm fully human. And the human part of me has, makes mistakes. It has quirks. It has foibles. It has insecurities and questioning. Do I have what it takes? Or can I really do this? Or who am I to do this? And so I dialogue with that part of myself. And I write out all the fears and the worries and the insecurities. I let it all come out in my journal. I don't hold back. And then I speak to myself from the voice. Once I've fully drained it all out, let out whatever is there for me, then I pause. And then I speak to myself from the voice of self-compassion and unconditional love, the one that is here within me, that no matter what I say or do or don't do, I'm loved, I'm safe, I'm worthy. And so that's my practice. That is my practice. I do it over and over.
Yeah, and I really love that you're also doing journaling. I love challenges, and I always experiment with my own challenges. So just the last year, I have been doing my morning pages every day for a year. Like I didn't miss a single day.
Wow.
And that's like I'm training my consistency muscle, which is also very important. So some years ago, I started with blogging for a year. So I did that. So it's like, okay, I managed that. And it's also a really good way to train your focus because I think we all are just bombarded with so much outside impulses all the time that we have to like do something to get ourselves focused on things which matter. And I really also loved what you say, that you dialogue with those parts in you which are maybe not lovable or, you know, the best of the best, but they are there and you have to communicate with them. And it's so important to also listen. What are they saying? What is their message? And then take it from there. And that's such a crucial, really good tip. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now you have really rocked the world, like going from corporate world into, you know, having your own business. And you have actually mentioned a really nice quote in one of your interviews with someone else. You said, you know, going into business, it's one way of also tapping into infinite abundance. And I really loved it because our company, which is actually behind the Abundance in Action podcast, is actually Infinite Activation. So how would you elaborate that? Like what's behind that thought, and how did you come to that? Because I definitely know from my own experience that's never been easy. I've had several companies over the years in different countries for like almost 20 years now, and I have never had a day which I could really like, you know, relax, like, okay, now it's like running for good for the rest of my life. I've been always on the edge, like, okay, what else can I do? What else can I experiment? What else can I do with marketing, sales, and so on? So it kind of keeping you on that edge of creation and also responsibility, because you can't just like say, okay, I'm not doing it, because then there will be no clients, there will be no cash flow, and then there will be no business, and there will be no abundance. So how would you elaborate your quote?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when I said that, but yes. Yeah, well, well, one thing, it just brings me back to when I decided to start my business. And that was eight plus years ago. And, you know, since my early 20s, Crystal, I knew I was meant to have my own business. I just knew it. In my 20s, I was like, I see myself, I'm an entrepreneur. That is just me. And I had to really build that courage muscle though. So I stayed in the corporate world for many, many years and growing that courage muscle. And then it was 8 years ago when I said yes. I put the stake in the ground and said, I'm doing this. And I didn't even know what the business was going to be at the time. I just said, I'm ready. I'm doing this. It's time. And I just moved from that place, moved from the decision, and took action from that place without knowing all the details or even just knowing the next step and just following that. And so, yeah, business as a vehicle for infinite abundance. With a business, yes, what I hear in that is freedom. And that's ultimately why I wanted to have my own business in the first place. Ultimately is a sense of freedom. Freedom to choose who I work with, freedom to choose how I work, to choose when I work, to set my own hours, to take vacations whenever I want them, to do the work that I really want to do, not have someone tell me this is the work that needs to be done, but to really be the originator, the creator and the originator, the visionary. And so I'm not over here saying like, oh, I've reached, infinite abundance and where I can just, take off for a year and move to Belize or I haven't. And this is where this is something that I really believe is no matter what your income level is or how much money you're bringing in, it's declaring that you are abundant now. You are, and that's been the biggest shift for me is no matter if I have an up year or a down year with my revenue, it really doesn't matter that it's I am abundant, I am successful right here, right now. It's not an out there or in the future. Abundance is only here and available to us in the present moment. It's not a future thing. It's not a past thing. It's only being right here. And so infinite abundance, I just look around me and I'm surrounded by nature. You can see the trees in outside my window. And when I look in nature and look at the ocean, I see infinite abundance, infinite waves. And I'm part of that. And so to ground this even more, because I know people are like, so how does that connect to money, actual money, dollars in my bank?
Or business.
Yes. How does that connect to, and the biggest shift for me that I would say that's biggest, the word self-trust. And that's been the biggest shift for me. For the first 5 years of my business, I was very much oriented toward looking to coaches and mentors to help me grow my business. I invested like nobody's business in the best coaches and the best mentors, the best certification programs out there. And it was helpful, very helpful up to a point. And it was like, then I just hit this wall or the ceiling or whatever metaphor and it was like, whoa, I'm not growing anymore. In fact, I'm going back in the opposite direction. What's going on here? And my shift with that is, instead of looking so much outside of myself for the answers, it's had me go within in a pretty relentless way. I like how you say consistency, like you have just been so consistent in these areas that you have set your mind to. And that's exactly what the shift has been for me, is consistently going within, even though, and it is working the muscle of accessing my answers from within, not looking outside of myself. And it's a challenge.
And especially to trust that what's coming from inside, yes, and then take action too, right?
Yes, exactly. So what I believe is that the more I come home and listen, like literally take time and space. For me, it's daily, to journal, to really receive the message, the guidance. Who am I guided to reach out to today? What's the message do I send to my email list today? What is the message to put out to my social media followers? So asking those questions and taking that time to listen, to trust it, and to act upon it. What I am finding is that infinite abundance is available when I do that.
We can all tap into it any moment.
Absolutely.
So simple. So another really inspiring part of your life when we have talked a little more has been the story how you found your now being husband. Would you say how did that happen?
Well, it was many, many years of keeping the faith, honestly. Since my late 20s, I had this strong sense and knowing that, okay, I really do want to get married and I want to be a mom. I just knew that being a mom was part of my path. And I had a number of relationships. It was like serial monogamy, just one relationship after another. And it was kind of like, is this the guy? Nope. Is this the guy? Nope. And it just, I don't know, I probably had 10 relationships, maybe six to 10, somewhere in there, of like pretty significant relationships, and pretty painful when I discovered that this wasn't the man for me. Or maybe I had a few where they said, "No, you're not the woman for me." And so so it was really about keeping the faith, really trusting and knowing. And I would go into self-doubt and why is it taking so long? And what's wrong with me? And then come back.
I had that one.
Yeah, right.
It's like, something must be wrong with me. Yeah.
Yes. And it was just that I kept coming back. I kept coming back and saying, this is what I want. This is what I desire. And I really wanted, because I had a few relationships in there where great guys, they really loved me. I loved them. They didn't want kids. They didn't want kids. And it was like, I can't, and I tried to make it work. And then I realized like, no, this isn't going to work, because this is something I truly, truly want. So I kept coming back to my true desires, what it is I truly want, my stand. I really also requirement was, it's important that my partner be spiritual, that my partner have an interest and a passion for spirituality, so that we can really connect on that level. And so I had tried out a few dating services. Match was one. And then this was back in 2006. And then a friend said, how about eHarmony? Why don't you try eHarmony? And I said, all right, I'll give it a try. And that was 2006. And after many, many different relationships that didn't work out, and finally eHarmony, I meet my husband, and it happened pretty quickly for us. I mean, for him, he said the first date was when he knew, and it took me a few dates to help. I know he was a little nervous in the beginning, so because he was like, "Wow, I have found my woman here," and so he was a little nervous. So it took me a few dates to really see more of him and beyond the nerves. And it was like, oh, okay, there you are. I see you now. And it happened then pretty quickly after that, where we decided we wanted to get married, and we bought a house together, and then we got married the next year, and then we had our child the year after that.
And what I hear is basically it's very similar to mine. It's just, with some like differences, but you actually really made a choice, to be truthful to your desires and what you wanted this relationship or person to be. And this is something I see so many women. We kind of have this picture. It's like a puzzle piece. And then you meet with the person and you see that those puzzle pieces don't match. And then you just like force it and you like close one eye. It's like, no, it's almost going, but it's not. And then everyone around you sees that it's not working. And you just really want to like believe that it's going to work, and then finally it doesn't work out, and it's all actually part of the divine plan. So
it
is that they are preparing you for that real amazing king, and you have found him. I was part of the online dating. I got really extreme. Like I got, I think I was there for like so many years that it turned into like almost like, not very healthy way of doing it. And then I stopped that and I said myself, kind of in a similar way, like, okay, I'm ready. I know what I want and who I want. And if that person is not showing up, I'm fine to just be married to my work, because I know it satisfies me and it's really fulfilling. And just 1 month later, I, met Michael in Mexico in a little fishing village, and he was not looking, I was not looking. And then we like made for each other. So that's wonderful. So basically your message could be fruitful, truthful, and faithful to your, desires. Don't kind of go below that, and then take action, whether it's a harmony or, meeting a person, because it's like, we take like Amazon, there are lots of things there, but until you don't click that, buy button, nothing will be delivered.
Yes. Right? Yes. And what I heard in your story is that I think is one of the keys is relaxing around it. Yeah. It sounds like you were so intense and really like, I got to make this happen. And then you just let it all go. And it was like, I truly, that's one of the keys around making money is there's the, okay, I got to make it happen. And do all these things. It's like, when we just let it go, let it all go and relax and follow our joy, it happens.
Yeah, that's like a crucial key. Follow your joy, or follow your passion, as they say also. And you have definitely proven with your life and your story that once you do that, things come easier, and also money comes easier, right?
Yes.
So, and it's also more fulfilling, because then you're doing your right thing and you are on your path, and then the whole universe can join and support you, and you don't need to do everything alone, because we are supported. We just have to say yes to it and start to walk the path.
Yes.
With courage and intuition.
Exactly. Courage on one side, intuition on the other. Yeah. Here we go.
Okay. So thank you so much, Rebecca, for this beautiful time. There are so many other things we could discuss. We can always do a follow-up podcast with you. But you also have a really beautiful gift for our listeners. Can you say a couple of words what this is?
Yes, it's my Soulful Signature Talk template. So this is the 5 steps to attracting your ideal clients with ease and growing your tribe. And it comes down to, it's a simple template that really shows you what's involved in having a soulful signature talk, which I believe is the heart of your marketing. Having that talk together with your story and some keys that you teach upon and a compelling call to action that's like central to everything you do in your marketing. So this is a template that just makes it really easy to know what to include in your speaking. So it's my Soulful Signature Talk template.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we'll make a special page for that, which we put underneath this podcast, so you can download this. And enjoy it. And I personally also participated in one of those amazing workshop days. We were lucky that time we still had it live.
Yes.
Here in San Diego. And it was so amazing because we were also together with this group of women. I was like amazed, like where did those women come from? Like it was like a bunch of superwomen came together to have a party. And that's exactly how it felt. And we had like amazing lunch together where we could connect all together a little more, and really beautiful clarity came out of it for me. And I took many of those tips and put into action to start to do even bigger online speaking gigs as well, coaching and so on. So it has been really amazing to have you as one of my guides on that journey. And there's so much else we can co-create in the future, I'm sure.
Yes. Oh, I'm so looking forward to it, Crystal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, and we wish you all the best of luck with all of the projects and all of the gifts which bring you joy. And please don't stop to share it with the world, because you are an amazing diamond. So it's been such a privilege to have you.
Well, it's been a true privilege to be on your podcast and to see you in action with your gifts. And you're beautiful and brilliant. So thank you so much.
Yay. Thank you. So for all the listeners and viewers, this was another episode full of yummy sauce with Rebecca Massoud, and lots of tips and ideas and stories how to put abundance in action in your life, and how to even make it infinite this time. And as always, we always ask you to please like, share, review, and comment. And if there is any other way we can make it better or also co-create, let us know. Thank you so much. Mahalo. Till the next time.